addition to Ghostly ASMR, brought to you by
Hey
Astral
Mike, we
Paranormal.
are live.
That was weird. What was that?
That's my phone.
Oh.
I was like, did something
Sorry.
interfere with something? Like,
Hey, Brett, you should probably take our mics out until we're ready to go live. Like, actually, be like. What's that?
Yep.
Yes. No one's on silent.
I'm putting mine on
Mike's
focus
quiet.
and do not disturb.
Well, I think we are live, Chris.
Yep. Finally made it.
Emily, Ed, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, hey everyone. It's Friday night, I think.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th. We are live in Trimunga Studios. My name's Mark. I am I'm playing kind of your podcast live stream host for the evening with Chris and our fellow talent and Emily. This is our first Astral Paranormal live stream podcast style format show that we're doing here. This is a live cam, live multicam. We've got an entire crew back in our control room, pushing all the buttons and making everything happen. Welcome. I hope you can join us. If you have any comments, when we get to a point where we going to open up and let you ask questions to us, they'll have to be relayed to us from our crew, because we don't actually see what's broadcasting right now. We're just seeing some preview stuff. So bear with us as we go. We're excited. We're going to be premiering our trailer for our show that's coming up, as well as our live event we'll talk about in more detail in a little bit. First, let's make our rounds and introductions. So again, I say my name is Mark Sarrow. I'm on the show. I'm one of the producers. I'm the acting director, and occasionally you'll see me on camera as the paranormal consultant, helping the investigators with some of the equipment and things we have here, and just working through the show and the investigations as we go. To my left, I want to introduce Chris. What's up, man?
How's it going?
Good.
Finally made it.
We did.
Chris Avellino. I am the DP on Astral Paranormal, and I also help when I need to help investigate.
Yep. So you'll see some segments with Chris and I from time to time, introducing the new pieces of equipment, and then you may see us on camera with Ed and Emily as well during some of the investigations. It feels like we've done a lot, but we are still pretty much in the beginning stages of the team, of the group, right? The investigations. We've been actively investigating a location now since February.
Yeah.
And we've got a couple more to go at that location as we continue filming for upcoming episodes. And we have so much more in store, coming down later this year and the next. But let's before we get into that, I want to introduce our main talent of the show. Emily, let's start with you. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm Emily Lito, also known as the Fine Art Medium. I am the psychic medium of the paranormal group Astral Paranormal.
And then we've got Ed. Come on, Ed.
My name is Eddie Bavaria, just like the country, and I am the lesser. I'm a Norse pagan. I love the paranormal and been fascinated about it since I was 4 years old, since I could think, and it's an honor to, be an investigator for Astral.
Well, we're excited. I mean, it's I feel blessed that this team's come together the way it has. Like the chemistry of us, and like the way we kind of relate to each other. Origin story for Chris and I, and really for all of this that came about. I mean, our executive producer and first AD Alex, and Chris and Ron, and we all met, and my partner Jessica, who's our production designer and lighting designer for the show as well. We all met on set at an indie horror film that was filming at the Pine Box in Wilmington, Delaware. That was what, September, October last year, Chris?
Something like that, yeah.
And we were all on set for Amityville Barbie, directed by Ronan James, and it was pretty wild, like the synergy. I remember you and I were kind of partnered up together, helping Sean, the production designer, dress the set.
Yeah.
You were so quiet. I didn't know what like.
Well, that was my first set. I had never been on a movie set before, any low budget anything besides the stuff we were doing. So I was trying to take it all in and learn and not get in the way, not bother anybody. Just, you want me to do something, I'll do it. But other than that, I'm pretty quiet, toned down. I don't want to go too crazy. I think you were the same way a little bit too. You were a little toned down. I was like, I don't really know how to take Mark. But then, obviously hanging out with you more often, I'm like, totally different guy than what I met that first day.
Yeah, that was my set face.
I could tell.
Yep, with my little set bag and my gloves, and and then I think that was Alex's first set as well.
Yes.
And then of course I think Ron's been on many sets.
He's been on a lot.
He's like the old salt war dog of the indie film.
He makes his way out there and tries to hit as many sets as he can.
Yeah. And I know, Jess and him hit it off, and they were talking a good bit. And she's like, "Yeah, I've been, this guy Ron." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
Yeah.
Again, then just, and then Alex was so approachable, and we just again all hit it off, almost instant chemistry with her, and it was like, okay, we got to work together. And Then we brought her on to one of the last few days of filming for another Amityville horror movie, Amityville Pool Toy Massacre, by Newt Wallen from Schlockenau Films, which we brought Ron in for that. He actually had a small cameo part for that.
Yeah.
You know, that's for the crew, all of us. That's our common thing. Our one of our camera ops and all smart hands, Brett Taylor, who's actually working audio and the PTZ cam for us tonight. He's, you know, Slaughter Beach, you know, the big Delaware slasher film that I found out about by reading a news article about it. I was like, I got to reach out to these guys. You're in Delaware, and Brett has become like, you know, another core team, part of the team for Trimungus and for National Paranormal, and he's worked on a bunch of other projects with us, and you know, loved having him on. And then we called in a ringer for tonight, Mr. Cole Lane, who I've worked with on a bunch of projects as well, and he's helping us run the live stream. He's running the media, you know, keeping us on the air. So we thank you. Exciting, and you know, and then I think I understand the origin story for you, Emily, with Alex was on set for Hayden's film, A Night In, correct?
Yep.
And that's how you guys met, and that's the chemistry. That's where is that where the idea started for the show? Was by
Yeah, we were talking about like some of my experiences, and I'm like, yo, it would be really cool if we made a group and did some paranormal investigation. She was like, bet.
And it just, yeah, because I remember her starting to talk about the concept that she was putting together, and I'm like, and I kept quiet, so like, you know, I'm like, let's see where it goes, because I didn't want to mix in and mingle in too much. Like I wanted to, you know, let it get some legs, and I wasn't really sure, you know, as we'll get into later, but talking more specifically about paranormal stuff and talking about our history in the paranormal, especially with actually all four of us with our experiences. You know, I was slow to kind of want to come back into this as much as I am, just because of some of my experiences. But and then Ed, your origin, I think you were connected to another original member.
Like, yeah, when I was kind of like, I was taken in by a mutual friend, and then I met everyone. It was at a Chili's or something.
Yeah, I think we went to Chili's or Applebee's or something
Chili's,
like that.
Applebee's, and it
Four
was.
of us sat down and had a meeting, and that was how we got to meet the wonderful
Yeah.
Ed.
So okay, I wasn't sure if if you all actually met in person first, or you just all, hey, we're investigating now. So
No, we met in person before we decided to do a investigation in 10 to 20 degree weather. It was.
But before that, you as a team, you all never had really investigated together, right? Before that first investigation.
I never met any of you guys till that meeting. It was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. I mean, the journey of a paranormal investigation team is unique in itself. Like how the groups come together, how they form, and how members come to be part of it. And we've talked about this extensively. Just over the last few months, of working together, how important that team dynamic is, and that we are all kind of like on the same page and understanding where we're coming from. Because when we go into an environment to investigate, just our energies being there can be disruptive enough that it could set off or quiet what's going on, even if we're like the most well-tuned, like put together team. And so in the beginnings, it's always that like push and pull of figuring out, well, okay, what's working, what's not working, getting to know each other, being comfortable with each other, and also then you throw in all of us, all the cameras and lights, and like, okay, here we go, action, right? And it's like, what?
Okay.
What are we talking about? I mean, I know, Emily, with your with your YouTube channel and a lot of your stuff, you've got a lot of experience, doing your live streams and your readings and do you do a lot of pre-recorded stuff too, right? I mean, it's...
Yeah, most of my content is pre-recorded.
Okay. So I mean, I think it's a good plug. I mean, I know you've got your dedicated channel. So how do folks find you on YouTube for that?
So all you have to do is type in the Fine Art Medium on there, and then I should pop up. I mean, it's pretty simple. I don't think anyone even has a similar name or tag on YouTube, so I should be the only one that pops up.
Okay. All right. No, it's cool. Yeah. I mean, please check out her channel. She's got lots of great content. And yeah, I mean, you're always putting out new stuff. I mean, it seems like you're
Yeah.
pretty active.
Thursdays at 9 a.m. is my typical schedule.
Gotcha.
So.
Okay. And that's something, like this show here is really like we jokingly call this like, it's like the actual paranormal after hours. It's like the bonus stuff, like, because our actual show, which is what is currently in production, is going to be a true investigation show. We're going to take you through, the journey of the team as we discover a location and investigate and look for and understand the history and and spiritual, supernatural sides of it, and then the firsthand experiences we have. Our team goes, it's we work as a crew and we're all kind of actively investigating, even though that we're dedicating you guys as the on-air talent, right? But all of us, my creative partner Tim, who's a part of the crew, him and I've been investigating together for 20 years, and we've done lots of stuff together, and he's you may not see him on camera too much, but he's got a lot of experience in the background. All right, so I think our first, I guess, get into one of our first icebreakers, talking about our own hobbies, interests. This
we
is.
have to introduce the dog. A lot of people
We have
commenting on the dog.
Yeah, that's
Star
true.
of the show
I
right
assume
there.
that
Come
people, know Tully, but this is Tully. He's he's our set dog. He likes to hang out where everyone is. You can see he's pretty chill. No, I didn't put him on any kind of a tranquilizer.
He's just naturally that chill.
Yeah, he just likes to hang out and be chill. He was on set all through Pull Toy Massacre and any video we've done here at the house.
He's a good dog.
He's a good boy.
Yeah, he just likes to hang out. So he felt left out by being upstairs, so we let him come on down. And since I got room on my couch, he's sitting with me, which he likes, and he's happy. So
He's living the life right now. He's just like.
Yep.
all right. So getting into, I know one hobby interest we all have in common.
Gee, I wonder what that is.
Parcheesi? No. So, and again, we're gonna take a deeper dive coming up more into our background and the origin story of our paranormal experiences. But let's start with some of our non-paranormal hobbies. So, Chris, like, what are some things that you like to do when you're not working or making movies?
Oh man, I do a lot. I have a lot of weird hobbies. Mostly, one of my biggest hobbies is movies. Not just horror movies. I love horror movies, but I just love movies as a whole. I don't have as much time because I'm filling up my time with everything else now, making movies, so it's a little bit harder to do and watch movies. But another hobby I have currently is fixing my house. Not quite a
Nice.
hobby. It's just something I have to do.
chore?
Yeah.
It's more of a chore, but I keep myself busy doing a lot of different projects.
Yeah.
It seems to change weekly.
Are there any hobbies or interests that have piqued your curiosity but you haven't yet had time to get into? Like, I want to do fencing or hang gliding. Or,
Yeah, I mean, there's always something. I'm like, I really want to try like, laser cutting. I want to get a glow forge and start cutting stuff on one of them. And
Oh,
I want
neat.
to know how to weld, and I don't know how to weld. And like, there's all these things I would love to do if I had the time.
Right.
But I gotta reel myself in sometimes and just say, let's stick to movies for right now. Movies and hobbies, or movies and fixing up the house. That's all I'm allowed to do right now.
Okay. All right. Well, Emily, what are some of the things you do outside of paranormal and working on the show, and like what's some other interests for you?
Oh boy, I've got a lot. So, to top it off, we got rock hounding. I like to look for rocks, crystals, and stuff, and then make jewelry out of them.
You like do your own tumbling and stuff?
Yes.
Cool. So
Yeah, it's addicting.
Awesome.
I also like to do any form of art, whether it's painting or drawing, and then writing. And right now, I'm working on a book. So,
exciting.
I'm so
Yeah, I
excited.
know you're gonna hopefully let me see a couple pages or outline of that later on after when we're done with the broadcast. Exciting.
my outline is 17 pages.
Wow. Okay.
Is there a specific rock that like piques your interest?
Yeah.
When
yeah.
you go out, like, is there one rock that I'm like, oh my god, I finally found it?
What's your
What's
white
your
whale?
white
Like,
whale?
yeah.
If, and I don't think it'll ever happen just because of where we live, it would be cool to find a nice opal,
Okay.
Nice.
but you can't really find them here. But anything like an amethyst, like a good like tower would be great.
There's like a special rock up in the Great Lakes, I think
Yeah.
there is, that glow under black lights.
Oh, that's
No
nice.
Oh,
kidding.
it's
Yeah.
isn't it Euconite or something like
I
that?
think that's something.
I have one. I
Do
love
ya?
it. Yeah.
I go up to Ohio a lot, so I want to try and get out on one of the lakes and try to find them. I just haven't had a chance to yet. So hopefully this summer.
Oh
I'll get a
yeah,
chance
I've
to.
got many black lights.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, could you pull your mic a little bit closer to you a little bit? Let me
If
see.
you-
Let me hear you.
If you ever come across like a
1,
like
2.
a white quartz tower like that big, maybe that in diameter.
That would be great. You
Thank-
want it?
Yes, I would love to have
That
it.
sounds like a good group like thing we could all do together. Is go
There you
rock
go.
hounding.
Yeah, it's got like a meditational aspect
It
to it.
does. That's
Like
why
Zen,
I like it.
Zen in the art of rock hounding.
And
Right?
grounding yourself.
Yeah.
That should be a book. That should be another book they do. Zen in the art of rock hunting. No, hounding, whatever.
All right, Eddie. But how about you? What are some of your interests outside of paranormal and?
Well, I mean,
I-
I used to like to play guitar and do music, but I kind of got into an accident
Yeah, I mean,
that almost severed my hand off.
yeah, I mean that happened. What, like within a week after
1 week.
the February investigation?
It was 1 week, and then it happened on Friday, not 13th, but February 28th. I'll never forget that day for as long as I live. But music, I've gotten recently into with Mark just creating gadgets. I'm in the works of creating a device that I've looked and tried to see if this device is a thing, and so far I have not. I'm pretty much creating what's it called, a prototype, which is a crystal electromagnet.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. How far out are you from hopefully having a working prototype to show us?
Maybe a couple of days. I'm gonna try and see if I can. I mean, I'm. It's kind of hard because I can't really cut anything.
Yeah.
But
Understood.
I've got the wiring down. I've got two versions, like one with a 9-volt and one with a D battery cell.
Okay.
Or, no, three. 9-volt D battery and then double A.
Okay.
Because I don't want to, fry circuits and, create a fire hazard.
Gotcha.
But yeah, other than that, like music, I love driving.
Okay.
It's weird, but I think really well when I drive.
Yeah. Well, there's a zen in that as well. Like, nothing going for a long drive to clear your head or think about something. I mean, it's in my meditational practice, it's like, you find an opportunity to do it anywhere, where you're driving, walking, sitting, thinking, laying, that's good. Let's see. Well, since my partner Jessica and I kind of went full time off the deep end into starting our own business and being a production company 2 years ago, I really haven't had much time for what I would consider hobbies. But I'm kind of doing what has always been like I've been pursuing it, since I was a little kid. I've been wanting to make movies and do this, and I've done more in the last 2 years, and especially with this group of people, than I've had in the last 20 years. So it's been really exciting, that journey. So it's something I'm really passionate about. But I'm a musician as well. If you could see outside the set, you would see that my studio here is 40 some guitars, and there's 1,000 guitar pedals and synthesizers, and music has been another one of those pursuits that's been my entire life, along with the paranormal as well as the film stuff.
Your studio is really, really pretty.
It's every time I walk in here, I'm just like, my God.
I'm giddy as a schoolboy on Christmas when I come down here. Like, ooh, this.
Yeah, we have fun down here. I mean, Ed and I started working on the first version of a theme song for the show a few weeks ago. So that's, we're working through that. Other hobbies would be sleeping, I guess, when I'm not working. No.
Hell yeah,
I do love nature. I love going out and When we can, I love to travel.
Recently, take up pickleball.
Yeah, we're starting pickleball. That's because we need exercise.
Yeah.
We need to get exercise. Like we're trying to figure that get like that back into our routine.
Standing behind a camera is not too much exercise.
Yeah, or unless you're doing a lot of handheld stuff, you
Yeah.
know. But music. I mean, movies as well. I love all movies. I could watch a rom-com after a slasher movie, after a war movie. It's. And now, I don't know if you do this. Like, is it hard to turn off the filmmaker side of you?
No.
You watch a movie and you're like, you
it's
start
impossible.
you do the lighting breakdown. You're
Yeah.
looking at, wow, look at the mechanics of how they did this shot, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh dang it, I'm supposed to be enjoying this, but you are enjoying it.
Yeah. How did they make that happen? Some of the seamlessness that they do is just mind-boggling to me, and it's so well done, and I really enjoy being able to watch that. And it's a different environment when you're watching movies now.
Yeah.
You still get to enjoy it. It's just a different level of
Yeah,
enjoyment.
it's a different kind. Yeah, it's from a different perspective. But it's movies are great. I mean, TV shows as well. I mean, I love like deconstructing how even there's those even sitcoms okay, there's figuring out the formula and how that works. All right, so it is Friday the 13th, and thankfully our producer really prepared some wonderful stuff, and unfortunately I didn't have time to memorize these facts. So I'm going to be cheating and using the clipboard to kind of help get us through this. Eventually we'll have a teleprompter, but
Yeah.
Right now you got
Baby steps.
baby steps. It took a lot
school.
for us to get to this to make this work.
Yeah. A lot of kinks today, but we made it through.
Yeah.
So kinky.
All right, so we got some history and background about the origins of Friday the 13th, and the sources I'm going to cite the sources because Britannica.com and History.com. So superstitions about Friday the 13th are often compared to other superstitious beliefs, such as breaking a mirror or a black cat crossing your path. Right. So before we really get into that, so my earliest memories of I think all superstitions they're taught to you. It's the environment you grew up in, your friends, your family. I'm trying to think. My oldest memory of Friday the 13th is probably Friday the 13th, the movie. How about any any specific memories or about the whole the vibe of Friday the 13th that stands out for you?
It was just
The movie.
The movies, yeah.
My first impression.
I mean, my birthday falls on a 13, and sometimes it lands on a Friday.
Nice.
So
Do you feel like that's a special?
I get so excited.
I would be too.
To
That's
me,
awesome.
that's like a lucky day when it's Friday the 13th, and it's my birthday.
That's awesome.
Party.
So there's a you wouldn't be surprised. There's a phobia about a fear of Friday the 13th, which I'm going to butcher again.
You got this.
Triskaidekaphobia.
Perfect.
Let's all say that together. Triskaidekaphobia.
Triskaidekaphobia.
So it's the fear of Friday the 13th. I don't think I've ever encountered anyone who was actually afraid of Friday the 13th.
I mean, I've encountered people that are afraid of the movie, but I'm like, it's not really that scary, but it's a great film. But get over it.
I was gonna say I know a lot of people that are afraid of Friday the 13th, but they're like Christians.
Those Christians.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
With us devil worshippers.
The original Friday the 13th movie, right? Kevin Bacon's in there, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
he takes the kill through the throat or through the face?
throat.
Yeah, through the throat.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one of the.
Underneath the bunk or underneath the bed, it comes up underneath and right
Yeah,
through. And
yeah.
It's a great shot.
God, that is one of the.
Chef's kiss, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. For the
yeah.
time it was done, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
And that blood. That was some good blood effects.
That was what year was that? 80, 81, or was it 70s?
I want to say mid 80s.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it was.
I thought it was okay. There were so many. I mean, there's how many Friday the 13th movies are there actually? Are there
A
more
lot.
than 20? Are there more than
No.
20?
No, there's not more than 20. Fan films, there's a good dozen fan films out there right now.
Okay.
Some of them are good, some of them are not as good, but they're still all well done. But
Does anyone remember the kind of quirky oddball movie Saturday the 14th
yes,
No.
with
What?
Ed Bailey Jr. I think is in it,
What's this?
and it's a
Saturday the 14th.
it's a goofy comedy from like the 80s.
Yeah.
like a parody.
There's like Transylvania's
65000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was sort of like that parody-esque
Yeah. It's
comedy version of it.
yeah, it's a real goofy, but I think it's one of those movies that just saw as a kid stuck out. So let's see, where did the superstitions come from? Where do we think they came from? Yes.
Religion.
I mean, I know some information, but
I mean, this is gonna sound weird, but like maybe like the Da Vinci Code, the Da Vinci Code's execution of the Knights Templar.
I was gonna say that. And then I was also gonna say folklore that's been passed down through generation and generation.
Like the telephone, like
Whisper down the alley.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it looks like one of the potential roots is again a Christian belief, but around the Last Supper, right, with the 13 guests and how that was a bad omen, representing death, apparently. Which I could see that. I mean, it wasn't necessarily a great day for Christ, I guess, as he's realizing he's on his way out. Let's see here.
13th guest.
So yeah, the day after the ominous Last Supper was the first Good Friday, right? Which is as I say was the day of Jesus' crucifixion. Which I've always wondered as a kid. I was born and raised Roman Catholic, and so I had to go through all the milestones of from communion to confession, confirmation, and then I went to an all-male Roman Catholic high school, so it was very indoctrinated, very part of our academic study, and it was just very bit. But I was like, why is it called Good Friday if it's the day he gets?
Yeah.
It's like, but and obviously it's because it's his death and his eventual resurrection and all that. But anyway, so let's see what else we got here about this. So there's also an article going around social media stating that Christians condemned Friday the 13th because it was associated with Freya from Norse religions.
How dare they?
So the article alleges that Friday the 13th was a day dedicated to sex.
Yes.
I'm all right.
I mean, that's
But there's no evidence
Nothing wrong with
nothing wrong with that.
but a footnote here is our producer saying there was really no evidence she could find that really kind of support that on either end. But apparently that's one of the things floating out there. And then there's a statement that Freya had a sex holiday is a gross misunderstanding of Norse culture. There was never a holiday in the name of Freya dedicated to sex.
No, I mean,
Boo.
the closest thing you're gonna get is, we get the names of our days of the week from Norse mythology, but that's the closest you're gonna get. Like, Monday is Manningsdag.
Yeah.
Tuesday is Tiersdag. Not to be confused with Thursday, which I'll get to. Wednesday is Woden's Dag, the day of Odin the Allfather. Thursday is Torsdag, or Thor in English pronunciations. Friday is Freya's Dag.
Yeah, that's it.
But
Right here,
that's-
it was Freya's day. Yeah.
That's
And this
the
has
only
been
thing.
Teaching with Ed on Norse days of the week. My bad.
So yeah,
I'm here to represent, okay?
So more footnotes here. The misconceptions are stated in the article that may stem from the phrase significance in Norse culture. Freya is the goddess of love, beauty, fertility, and war, right? So,
Yeah. All great things.
Yeah, and then they're just saying, furthermore, the number 13 does have significant importance in Norse culture, as Loki arrives as the 13th guest at, what do you know, another supper, where someone dies, in this case, Balder, the god of love and joy.
I saw that movie. Thor Love and Thunder, right? Thor
Yep.
Love and Dinner, something like that.
Thor, Love and Thunder.
Shore Love and Golden Corral buffet.
Ooh, yeah.
Anyway,
Cracker Barrel.
and another side note here, Alex is so thorough. I love it. So
Thank you, Alex.
there are actually
We love Alex.
four Norse gods that are associated with love, marriage, and fertility.
What?
There are
Yeah.
4 Norse gods.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of forget who, but
Talk amongst yourselves.
You didn't know?
it's hard for me
This is on the quiz.
It's hard for me to bring up that information like right on, because that's like a deep dive. That's not like
You don't keep that in your back pocket?
some Norse pagan I am.
Great.
Well,
I feel cool.
so there you go. I mean, there's some fun history and facts about Friday the 13th, and we learned a new phobia, Trekadekapekapeka. No, hold on. Expialidocious? No,
Yeah.
no. Triskaideka.
Triskaidekaphobia.
There we go. Thank you. Oh
Triskaidekaphobia.
my gosh, look at the spelling on that.
Let me see that.
And
At the top there.
the Jersey Devil is a common thing. He was the 13th child of the Leeds family.
Oh, okay.
So that's a folklore thing. I don't know how, obviously, folklore. So I don't know if they attributed
my God.
the 13 because it was already decided to be a bad luck omen type thing, and then they decided to come up with the story, or if it was actually...
And the whole, I think, around I think the number 13 being unlucky, it really definitely, certainly was in our Western society, because you go to any high-rise building built before a certain period,
Hotels, yep.
there's no 13th,
No 13th floor
Mhm.
on the elevator.
You know,
But you're on the 13th floor if you're on the 14th, so good luck. They didn't just skip the floor. It's still the 13th, but...
there's a ghost
Yes.
typing on the computer right now.
My daughter was born on the 13th day of July.
Very cool.
So yeah, I mean, I lived in in Philly. I lived in a high rise, and we were on the 14th floor, which was really the 13th floor. And nothing really ever bad had happened, but that just shows you how much that has been ingrained into society, though. That it's like that they would go so far as not put a 13th floor in a high rise building. It's like, but it's still there. It's just you just didn't decide to label it that. But okay, that's fine.
I wonder if it's the severed floor.
Well, you wouldn't know because you don't know what happened. When you go down, you're a different person. You're any. Oh, you just did it. Oh, he just severed.
The Twilight Zone.
The ghost will write stuff here. Thank you.
Ah, nice. Thanks, Ghost.
Mr. Milkchick will have something to say about it.
Oh no. All right. So, again, we're kind of just free forming, but we are going to get to the equipment on the table. Talk more about there. We talked a little bit about Ed's hobby, and he's getting into building prototype experimental devices. And this table is full of experimental devices that I've collected and gathered over the years as a paranormal investigator. So I think it's a good segue. Let's dig a little bit more into the paranormal and the origin stories of all of us and how we kind of got involved, in the paranormal. I feel like another common thread is we all had experiences at a very young age, or had somebody in our family that was into it, that just kind of exposed us to it. So I'm gonna start with something. Emily, let's start with you. So, what is one of your earliest memories of something with the paranormal you can recall? A story you could tell us.
So when I was a kid, I would say around 8 or 9 years old, I remember my mom coming into my bedroom to wake me up for school. And she came in and asked me about my porcelain dolls that were on the shelf above my bed. And she was like, hey, why are they turned around facing the wall? And I was like, I don't know, I can't reach, so I didn't do it.
So was that house? How long did you live in that house that happened at?
So from 1998 till I guess whenever we moved to where we are now, which would be like 2021.
So was that house active? Just an active place for you?
So for me growing up, I didn't honestly believe in the paranormal. I saw Zach Bagel Bites' Ghost Adventures and was like, oh, that's fake as hell. And it didn't I didn't think about it until I had my traumatic experience, which was I think I was in my early 20s to mid 20s, and I was experiencing paranormal activity in my house, and there would be taps and bangs and threes. My electronics would go off, my computers, my alarms on phones, clocks would all go off at 3 a.m. in the morning. And then one night, or technically late afternoon, I was doing a meditation, and then on the astral realm, I saw the thing that was pacing around my room because I could feel it, and it was creepy. But so I try to snap out of that meditation because I'm like, ain't gonna get me. But when I like got up from the meditation, it dragged me down my bed by my ankle and scared the bejesus out of me. And that's kind of when it was like, oh, this is real. What is science?
Back up a second. So, did it like fully grab?
It grabbed me by my ankle and dragged me down my bed while I was not in a meditation and I was fully like aware and awake.
Because I've had that happen multiple times too. It's like whatever, it just grabs you by the ankle and like
Yeah.
it'll like drag you like around the bed or drag you off the bed or something like that. And
Mhm.
that's like the most like, because when it's happening, like wait, what? Like I don't understand what's going on. You know, it's like
Yeah,
that.
you can't debunk it because it's like, I mean, I was raised in a very scientific oriented like way. Like when I went to school, I started majoring as like a bio major, but then I kind of transitioned to like the criminology and psych aspect. So I still had like the just doing my own experiments and debunking certain things, but like you can't debunk when you're like being dragged by your ankle down the bed.
No.
No.
Well, in that moment, all you can think is, "Holy beep!"
I'm
what
like,
the hell's
okay,
going
any
on?
doubt that I had is gone.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
The first experience with the porcelain dolls. How old were you at that point?
I was like 8 or 9. I didn't think much of it. I just thought, oh, maybe vibration did it.
Okay.
Hmm.
Did your mom pick up on it? Was
She
she?
was just like, ew, and then we forgot about it.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay. All right. How about you, Eddie? What do you got? What's your what's your earliest memory of what attracted you to the paranormal? Was it a personal experience from your family?
Oh, the house that I grew up in from 1993 till 2016.
Okay.
So a big majority of my life. It started when I was like 4. Our house was built in like 1809,
Okay.
and it was a stop on the Underground Railroad.
Okay.
And there was a very kind spirit who kind of resided up in the third floor. Our third floor was like the the guest area had a really still has a really good TV and sound system in there. But whenever I would sleep up there the first time, I was kind of cold, and my blanket was like kind of like off to the side. The spirit literally grabbed the blanket, and it was like no wires, but it looked like a movie when it just goes over you.
Mm.
And I was like,
Thanks. That was cold.
okay, thanks, bye. I mean, stuff like that happened. Footsteps, like breathing sounds in my ear, like whispers, and then. Sorry, Mom, I'm gonna kind of throw you under the bus here. This is why I have a phobia of dolls. Because my mom came home with a Raggedy Ann doll, and
Mm.
it was sitting on the second to third floor landing in a chair that looked directly into my room. It was like this doll I would see this hand move and every single time I didn't close my door and had that thing looking at me, I had the same nightmare every single night that it was open. And then when I shut it, nightmare. So,
Okay.
I hate Raggedy Ann dolls with a passion.
Yeah. Oh,
No,
we all know the most famous.
No Annabelle doll for me. No,
Yeah.
not even Robert the doll. I'm not. I just don't do dolls because of that reason.
Guess what you're getting for Christmas?
I hate you.
a subscription.
I will burn that
A
doll.
monthly subscription of Raggedy Ann dolls.
I will go to the nearest smoke shop and get Zippo lighter fluid.
Jeez.
Pull Sam and Dean from Supernatural.
All right. How about you, Chris? What was your one of your first early experiences around the paranormal?
I didn't have too many personal experiences that ever affected me, but my mom, um, she really enjoyed playing with a Ouija board
Oh boy.
forever.
Oh, nice.
So she would gather all the kids in the neighborhood, and we would sit on the front porch, and she would just do it by herself, and just scare the bejesus out of all the kids, and we would all just be like, "No, you're faking it," and she was, she was definitely not faking it because she didn't even have to look at the board, and you could watch it writing, like one-handed. She'd have a cigarette in the other hand. She'd be looking over here, and it's writing on the board, and we're all just like spelling it out letter by letter, and we're like, "Oh my god, what's going on?" And we're young. I was, probably 7, 8 years old at the time, and we all just lost it. And she continued to do that to all my friends throughout high school, and we would, go out on investigations and stuff. And then, eventually digital cameras became a thing where we were able to take pictures and all. And that was probably one of the first things I noticed. We caught like a picture of a demon at a place we went to, and
see it?
that was like, that's gone.
Oh, it's gone.
So gone. It's like 2001 probably, on a compact flash 16 megabyte card back when they first came out with digital cameras. But that picture's gone. But that was probably like that pushed it over the edge for me. I had one other experience. We were house shopping with my mom, and one of these houses I walked into, I closed my eyes and I got a vision of a little kid standing up in the doorway, and I was like, "Did you feel that?" And she's like, "No, what was it?" I was like, "There's a little kid here, and I don't think I want to be here." And so we did not buy that house just because of that reason.
Wow.
I was like, "Nope, ain't happening."
It's funny. As soon as you said Ouija board, I looked at the look on both of their faces, and,
Yeah.
and internally, because I'm like, oh man, we could probably spend an hour just talking about some our own personal experiences with Ouija boards and like why I know I don't mess with them anymore, but that's wild.
Guess what you're getting for Christmas?
My wife will. I won't care. They won't bother me at all. I'm not bothered by Ouija boards. My wife will not, because I like them as decoration. Like, I see the rugs, I see different things like that. I'm like, that'd be cool to have.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
I've got the Ouija rug over here.
Yeah.
Oh,
My wife's like, "Nope,
I'm
not
talking about
happening."
handmade.
Yeah.
Well,
There's a, it's, if you're really into like so I have a friend who's in upstate New York. He's a paranormal investigator that I used to work with. His name's Mike Buckley. He actually makes custom spirit boards and will sell them. They're pretty cool. I've come close to buying one. Because I always want, like, I'd like to have a custom one for a prop for something. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to use it, but it's good for, we're making horror movies.
Yeah.
So
We
eventually
definitely
we're
use
gonna-
it
we're
at
gonna
some
need one.
point. Yeah.
I mean, I have my Parker Brothers one that's somewhere around here. It's like a glow in the dark with the planchette, and
Yeah.
that we used in our one feature as a prop. But other than that, it just stays on the shelf, and I don't mess with it. But
Is that like the only game that exists that you can buy in a store that can contact the dead? Like, that's such a crazy concept. You go in a store and you're like, "I'm gonna play Monopoly and talk to a dead guy." Like, nope, that ain't happening.
yeah, well,
It's only a Ouija board.
the whole origin of Ouija boards and spirit boards. I mean, again, we could probably spend. I mean, you go back to the Fox sisters and the whole spiritualist movement and all that, and we'll I think we'll save that for another episode, another time. But so for my origin story, and I was laying in bed a few nights in the last couple of weeks, knowing that this was coming, and trying to kind of organize my thoughts around this. And there's a part about that I forgot that I just because I'm the old head in the group, so one of the old heads in the group. So so my story goes back to the late '70s. I was maybe 4 or 5 years old. And my father had his own contract and construction business, but it was tied to all the personal stuff. The business went up. We went bankrupt. We lost our house. So my family decided we're going to get a fresh start, and we moved downstate. I was born in Wilmington here in Delaware, but when this happened, we lost the house, we lost the business. They decided, let's move downstate. We moved down to Dover, which is the capital of Delaware, and we moved into this little house on State Street, right on the main strip. And now my parents didn't tell us, because I was the youngest of 3 at the time. It was before my kid brother was born, and so they to protect the family and to protect us, they didn't really say anything, because my older brother and sister were maybe like 11 and 12 or something like that. But apparently all the neighbors came around and warned them that we basically moved into the Amityville Horror House. Because this was at the peak of, I think, the first Amityville Horror movie had just come out, right around that time. So, of course, that was, like, top of mind for everybody. So everyone's thinking anything paranormal is to Amityville Horror. The reality is, it was kind of the opposite of that. Now, it scared the crap out of me because I'm 4 or 5 years old, and I honestly was afraid of butterflies at the time. So, if you ever talk to my sister, she'll tell you the story of me running, screaming from a little white butterfly, and it's her fault. Anyway, so I would wake up in the middle of the night to a figure standing in my bedroom, very, very shadow figure-like. You really couldn't make out any features. But then there would be, like, the interior doors in the house would open and close by themselves. There would be footsteps walking up and down, the steps and in the hallway. But the one piece that I had just remembered in the last week or two that I now remembering was, this is where a recurring dream started. That lasted until I was probably 12 or 13 years old. And how I broke this recurring dream was actually that movie Dreamscape with Dennis Quaid, where it's the whole premise is they learn how to go into people's dreams, and it starts as a therapy to help people with nightmares, but then it turns into a weapon. And from seeing that movie as a young teenager, I'm like, oh, well, if you can lucid dream and control the dream, then you can break the pattern, and then you basically break the dream. And so I learned to do that, and I broke this recurring dream. But this recurring dream was it. So basically, I'm sitting in a vessel that's like a bus, for lack of better words. It's this glass window, and it's racing towards this like pyramid like structure, and there's all these beams of light and all these different colors of light streaking like beside me, very much like you think of like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark when all the the ghosts are coming out of the Ark of the Covenant. It was very like just streaks of light like that. We're all racing towards this object, this temple-like object, and that dream like went on for years. Now I didn't have it every night, but like in the beginning I may have had it a lot because I think it really kind of burned into me. But then as I got older, it became more spread out. But then when I realized that it was like I couldn't get out of this dream, and I started again understanding what lucid dreaming was, and then I was able to break it, and I never had it again. But that was just an aspect I just remember, like, oh wow, I forgot I had that dream for many years. It was like, and you think at 5 years old, like a summer feels like a lifetime, and for that to go on for like 5, 6, 7 years or more, it was pretty significant. And just that was my earliest experiences with the paranormal. And I just as soon as I got my driver's license at 16, I was taking my friends out and chasing down urban legends, and just going deep into looking for the local lore and all that, and just and then living in and we only lived in that house for a year. And that house turned out to also used to be a funeral parlor. And there were slabs in the basement where they would work on the bodies and stuff, where I'd put my Millennium Falcon and my Star Wars toys and play, and and I had in my sister and brother would roller skating around there in the basement, and that was like their roller rink and all that kind of stuff. But we were oblivious because our parents didn't tell us what the house was, or they tried to kind of keep it from us, even though I personally been experiencing it. So I think you just again, I know that you two are also you being a psychic medium. It's like it's also comforting in a weird way, right? You just because it's become at one point it's just part of your everyday. Like it's like you just there's this thing happening. I heard something, or saw something, I felt something, I dreamt something, or as you get older and you start to kind of look into different modalities of practice, and you start getting into astral projection and meditation, and you start to realize that like, wow, it's like you can interact with it, and you can kind of control your relationship with it. Because for me, I don't know if it was like for you when you got in your 20s, and you realize, okay, I'm an adult now, and but like it at times it got the best of my life. Like it was like I couldn't get away from it. I didn't know how to like keep it at a safe distance. So that's when I started getting into other spiritual practices and beliefs, and thinking, okay, I got to find ways to like be able to keep this at arm's length when I need to keep it at arm's length, because I can't really like, it's hard to function, it's hard to like deal if you're always picking up something, or always sensing something, or always interacting with something. Like I personally don't go to like I don't like being in hospitals. Just not because of the it's just because of the energy there is just too much. I don't really go to cemeteries too much, you know, because it's like, yeah, most times cemeteries are mostly quiet, but there's chances there's other times when things aren't, and things, you know, can get pretty hairy. And you know, one of my things I talk about in my Delaware book was a teenager. Something chased us out of a cemetery, and I say something. It was something. It wasn't a it wasn't a person or thing living. It was this thing that kind of come racing across the cemetery and literally scared and it chased us out of off the ground. So, you know,
When you say hospitals, like, are you talking about like current like
yeah,
like running hospital?
active running hospitals are just it energetically they're hard places for me to just be in and feel peace or quiet, because
yeah.
it's just it's like, you know, and again, like I've really spent years in my life learning how to kind of be able to put up those defensive walls, and learn to, you know, to control when things, you know, come in or not. And oftentimes it's too much. It's like you know, when a flood happens and the levee breaks, you're like, okay, well, the levee broken, and now it's just you put a finger in a hole and you're getting hit with a tidal wave on your right, you know. So, and it seems like, you know, it seems like you have a very similar.
Oh my God, I hate hospitals for that exact reason.
It's weird, right? Like, I mean, you know, again, I'm glad I'm not alone, because it's like, oh, it's just a phobia. You just don't like. No, it's not.
Hospitals.
It's not really
suck.
that. It's just it's the energy of the place.
I get so sick in hospitals, like, especially in elevators for whatever reason. I just get that weird feeling. But hospitals, I get so sick. I have to leave.
Yeah, so it's, you know, it's hard when I had to go visit family or friends that are in the hospital. It's like, okay, it's like, let me wrap myself in aluminum foil and no,
Oh yeah.
yeah, put on my Faraday cage suit, you know.
I was gonna say the worst is like the hospice kind of hospitals. Like,
Oh God.
the last time I was there was for my grandpa who was dying, and like when I was there I had to leave because I got so ill, and like I would say within a day or two later he passed away. But like I got so sick my dad had to drive me home from New Jersey to back in PA.
Well, yeah, it's as I've gotten older, it's, you know, again, just keeping up with the practice and the different modalities and different disciplines, it's helped. But then there's still that day where, like, you think you're okay, and all of a sudden it's like, you just get like knocked over the head, and you're like, okay, I thought I was ready for that, and now okay, now I gotta go. Yeah, it's intense. Can you believe we're coming up to the end of our first hour already? I mean,
that's the problem with us.
We
Is that when we get together, we just talk and talk and talk, and it seems to just keep going every time we're together. So it's a bit of a hindrance sometimes when we're trying to get stuff done. But yeah, we've gotten an hour done. That's cool. Almost.
Yeah, no, you know, this was my hope for this style of us getting together and opening ourselves up to the internet, and, you know, and introducing ourselves as our show, you know, comes to life. Because, you know, reality is we are, you know, we are really in the beginning of the production of the show. I think we've collectively said what we're filming right now is for episode 2, but I think it's going to end up stretching out to a multi-episode thing. But as a team, it's only our second location we've ever investigated, and I wasn't even there on the first one. So I feel like the first time I actually met both of you in person was when you all came here for the crew call before we went to the investigation. So it was like, and that investigation was like, okay, I haven't used this piece of equipment in 5 years.
We're gonna see if this works.
Let's see if it works. Oh, that kind of worked. Here, put this camera on. Let's see if it. Oh no, that didn't go so well.
The lights.
Yeah. You know, so I feel good about, you know, again, I feel like we're building something.
Yep.
And I hope that you see that just hearing us talk, that, you know, we aren't putting on a front. This isn't something that we're just doing because we just want to make a TV show. This is something that brought us all together. It's a common thing. It's for all of us. It's been a part of our lives.
It's comforting because, you know, especially in college, I was always like oh, you're the guy who plays Ouija boards. Yeah, you're on the hockey team. What the hell are you? And like, it's like, oh, people that understand and understand what's going on.
Yeah.
It's a good. It's a good group of people with all with.
And the thing one of the new things that we're introducing to the show, which we all have to be outside of Emily have to be careful about, is we try not to talk about any other locations, because part of what we're doing is for Emily is we don't tell her. We basically, you come into it cold, for lack of a better word, right? Like you'll do what you call your pre-channel, and then we're literally bringing you to the location under blindfold, and that reveals when you're seeing the location, you're experiencing the location for the first time, which I think is going to translate well on camera, and we're excited to when we have the episodes together and let you see the way that we go on the journey as a team to investigate a location, to see what's going on, whether it's haunted or understanding what the activity is. Now that we've been at this one location a couple times, we can talk about the location because we're not spoiling anything for everybody. But there's other locations that we're lining up that we won't talk about because we don't want to spoil it for her. And it's again part of our protocol that we've established as a group and for the production, that we're not showing it that way. As R2 sings to me in the background.
R2, where are you?
So we can talk about it because the whole point of tonight's live stream too is also to debut our trailer, to kind of give a little teaser for what's to come. But we do have a big event coming up in October that is a public event. Tickets haven't gone on sale yet. They'll be actually going on sale probably beginning of August, I imagine. Cool. We've partnered with the location to do this as a fundraiser for them. We're using it as a showcase to introduce the world publicly to the team and to highlight some of our methods and tools, and actually show evidence and reveal things that we found during our multiple investigations at this location. And so the location is the Everett Theater in Middletown, Delaware.
Yep.
It's a 103-year-old theater. This version of the theater was built in 1922. We've already been there multiple times. We've got several more investigations lined up as part of our shooting schedule because, one of the things that I've always practiced as a paranormal investigator is I would rather go to one location 20 times than go to one location or 20 locations one time, right? Because no matter how haunted the place may be, if you're limiting yourself and you're only there for 4 hours or 6 hours or 8 hours and that's it, you might experience something. There's more likely chance you may not. So the idea that we spend as much time, as many hours, and many visits as we can, at different times and and trying different experiments and different things, really just kind of increases that chance for us to capture something. And I think that's the general approach we're taking as we go to different locations. We're going, for the team and for the show as well.
Isn't there a theory like if you go to a location more than once, like the entities will be more comfortable interacting, or over like a span of like 5 visits, they're going to be less. They're going to be okay. I'll show these guys like what they're really made out of.
Yeah, I think there's something to that. I mean, you have to build a relationship, just like we are all building a relationship with each other and developing our dynamic and our way of working together. I think it's the same with the environment. I mean, nice ice. Again, like we said, we've said. I don't know if we said it earlier tonight, but we've said before, like the idea, like just us walking into a place, we impact the environment, right? And so. We need to give it that space, that environment, and whatever potential entities or energies that are there time to get used to us, just like we need to get used to them, because they're not show performers. They're not just gonna like turn on and do the things we ask them to do or tell them to do, which is another thing about how we approach them, right? Provoking is not something we engage in. We don't want to be disrespectful to them because I don't in life, I don't want to be disrespected, and I'm not going to be disrespectful. So in death, if they are a a human that has passed, why would we go in there and bark at them and yell at them and command them to do things? And I know I wouldn't respond to that, and I don't think any of us would. So, and it's interesting because I think I think you were saying in one of your channelings recently, after investigation, you got that they wanted us to be
Oh yeah.
a little more formal in our
Formal and with manners, like yes sir, yes ma'am.
because we weren't. I guess we were being
Yeah.
too loose or too modern in our
Yeah.
vernacular, and
Yeah.
which I get it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
so. And we were brainstorming the other night on our production call about some new experiments we could try, and which I'm hoping we'll have the bandwidth to do at some point because
Yeah.
I would love for us to dress up and like recreate an entire
Different eras, yeah.
like trigger event where we would
All right.
dress up as 1920s and show a silent film in the theater and
Mhm.
and try to really draw them out, assuming that that's the period that they're there. We don't
Yeah,
know, right?
We don't
I mean,
know.
but I kind of feel like from what you're getting, it's an older school, it's an older energy. They come from a different time where that was you were more formal in your interactions and etiquette with folks. So that maybe we start there and we kind of work our way up.
Yeah. I think that'll be fun.
And when we get to the 70s, we're all wearing afros and
You probably have all that gear, don't you?
I do.
I know you do.
I made a disco video.
I know.
I've got all that. I've got all that. Yeah, no worries there. I got you all covered. You want the one piece?
I do.
Yeah, Canadian tuxedo. I got you.
Ooh.
With the platform shoes with the fish in them.
Yup.
I got that. I got you covered.
How about the glorious 80s of hair metal? You got any of those?
Oh, I'm sure we could make that happen. I've got some.
Some leopard print jeans that
Yeah.
flare out.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, why don't we? I mean, we've got some clips we're going to show. Obviously, we're building up to the trailer, which we're going to show at the very end. Our plan is to go till about 10 o'clock to wrap this up. So we still got some things we want to talk about and show and talk about here. So on our table in front of us here are some of the older devices, and there are some brand new devices on here that we've yet to take out in the field that we are taking out on our next investigation. One of the pieces, actually the piece that's not here is the portal box because it's in pieces. I'm rebuilding it again.
The one that
The one that we initially built, that then we took to the theater and we did a segment with. But since then, it's already gone through 3 iterations, and I've got a piece upstairs that I just got for it, and it's kind of like it's not here, but it's another device which we'll talk about. But I don't know if they want to pan. We've got a camera that can pan. So if we start on this end of the table. So this device is a simple. It's called an EM pump, right? So it's basically just creating EMF. It's a generator for us. So one of the common theories in paranormal research investigation is that electromagnetic fields are something that can, depending on how they're measured and what type of EMF field, could be indicative of paranormal activity. Another theory of that is that they can feed off that type of energy. So the idea behind this device is it literally is just creating this and pumping out EMFs in a way that we're basically charging the environment, we're feeding the environment in the hopes that spiritual energy could use it to manifest or to come forward. It's a really simple device, but that's what it does. It's got a spinning magnets that's powered by a motor. And as it spins and builds up, the energy grows. It puts out more and more. And then I think this thing puts out more than our EMF meters can measure because I think that meter there in front can do up to 300 milligauss, and it'll just once this thing has been cooking for like 20 minutes. So this is one of our devices, and we've used this on every the investigations we've done so far. We'll continue to use them. It's this very very simple device. This is our newest taken out. Oh gosh.
got it.
So this is our EMF tripwire. So this is actually it's 32 feet of tripwire that we can set up in any kind of configuration in a circle around us, in a line, and each of these modules are EMF sensors, but lights, and they're color coded. The light based upon the amount of EMF that it picks up. So by default, it's like a pink, meaning it's flat line, and as the EMF increases, if it detects it, it changes color, and it literally is a tripwire. So that if something spikes EMF and it crosses the threshold, we'll see it in a visual representation. So, in a low light or no light environment that we're investigating, this will stand out. So I'm excited to see, especially at the theater, what we're gonna do with that.
That's gonna be fun.
And this is the same variation. It's an EMF like lantern, trimp lamp. Same concept. Is that so it's default. It's at like this pink, which means it's pretty flat. But if EMF or spikes, it'll change color depending on the amount of EMF it detects. The literature that came with actually gives you the specific range and color for each.
Spooky.
Anyway, this is new as well. We haven't used this in the field yet. We're going to very soon. You want to go with that one?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that one.
This is the Shadow Pro 5. I guess there were 4 other. I don't know, but it's the 5.
That's the second one.
Yeah.
They just jumped some numbers.
Yeah. It's like the iPhone 12 or whatever. No,
Xbox.
yeah. 360, then it's 1.
Yeah.
So basically, the idea is that it is an optical sensor that can measure shadows, and so if a shadow passes in front of it, you're going to get a light, and it's gonna go off, and it has a level meter that is for the sensitivity of the sensor. It's basically like a photosensor optic kind of type of thing.
I'm excited to use that.
We use this a couple times. Usually, you set this up stationary on a perimeter around where we're investigating, and it kind of goes from there. It looks like it needs a new battery because it's dead.
Toast.
Batteries.
This is the Mel meter, one of the original Mel meters. I've had this one for over a decade. It's basically just a digital EMF meter. Again, electromagnetic fields is one of the common things that is one of the more theorized things as far as environmental energies or whatever, lack of a better word, that we want to detect. We use it in a way where it's always on, and we kind of first we're looking for like a baseline, right? Because most EMF can be AC or DC. AC is typically means it's man-made. It's coming from electrical current. Depending on the building you're in, the location, you could have unshielded wiring or switches or outlets, and so we want to know where that EMF pollution may be because we don't also want to be falsely thinking that it's the ghost of the electrician just came in the room, things like that. So there's lots of variations of the EMF meter. I think there's the new versions of Mel meters that have other sensors built into them as well, but this is just a standard EMF, and it also has a Type K thermocoupler for air temperature, so it gives us real-time temperature as well.
Temperature adjustments.
Another thing that is theorized is temperatures can increase or decrease. You hear about the typical cold spots, right? Oh, the cold spot means the temperature decrease, but temperatures can increase, which is usually a warning sign of something darker, negative. Some folks go to the demonic, but usually that's a
Malevolent.
It's a negatively charged energy. Cool device. This one, Chris and I, we did actually put this through the paces for a segment at the theater during our interview work. This is called the Envoy. This is made by Dave Giuliano from South Jersey Ghost Research. It's an ITC device. If you don't know what ITC is, that's instrumental transcommunication. It's the means of spirit communication by using some type of device. I've often described the psychic medium as you're an instrument in itself, so it's a form of ITC. It's just, in the more traditional modern sense, we think of ITC in some kind of physical electronic device, right? Yeah. Which is like the spirit box radio and these types of things. It's cool. I don't think you really saw this one yet.
No. It's fun.
I'm excited, dude.
It's got multiple modes. It's got the emojis. It's got the for it's got the alphabet, it's got letters,
yeah.
it's got
That's
yes
got
and
emojis?
It's got emojis on it.
it's
Yeah.
got the poop.
Oh.
It's got a poop emoji. No, it's okay.
Poop it.
Anyway, we'll be doing really dedicated segments with this stuff. But this is another really cool device. Again, this is new. This is one of the newer pieces to the gear to the toolbox. I got the Echo Vibe, which is made by the same folks who made the Shadowmaster 5. This one is about vibration, so picking up.
Ha, ha, ha. Hello.
So, a cool one, It's
I loved seeing that one work when we did it at the Everett. That was fun.
Echo Vibe, cool. I'm saving. You know where we're getting to.
We know where we're going.
You know where we're going, right?
I know.
They don't know where we're going.
I know.
But we all know where we're
We all
going.
know.
We all know.
So I'm gonna tease it out a little bit longer. We're getting there. All right.
Work your magic there.
So this is the EDI, or the EDI. I've had this one for about 4 or 5 years. We have a couple of these. This is a multi-sensor device. It does EMF as well, temperature, vibration. It's neat. And it's a data logger. It actually can write everything to an SD card, so then we can plop all that information in. It has timestamps. It has all the information. And I've always been about having data loggers, that kind of anything that can record anomalies or environment while we're experiencing things, the subjective experience, to see if there's any correlation, any pattern with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a couple of these. These are cool. I don't know if you can still get these or not. I'm sure you can probably find them on eBay if you really want one.
It's also surprising how expensive some paranormal gear can be. I'm like,
Right.
why does it cost $500 for this little teeny little thing?
So now we're getting into some very purpose-built ITC devices, right? So all these other devices, mostly, I call them weather instruments, really, because they're measuring changes in the environment. Yes, a lot of these are built, with Ghost Hunter or Ghost Meter or this, and it's in reality that's not what they really are. They are weather instruments measuring changes in the environment. How we use them and how groups use them or other investigators use them seems like it can vary from team to team. But now we're getting into a very purpose-built ITC, instrument transcommunication device. This one's called the Ovilus FX. There's many iterations of the Ovilus. I think the newest one that is still available as like a digital screen, very much like the Envoy. And it's one from Ron. This one has got to be about 12, 15 years old. So it's a combination of sensors, temperature, EMF, humidity, barometric pressure, that then maps to words using what's an old SpeakJet chip that translates to actual words. So it was talking. What's that? What? Huh? Are you here? No?
Hello?
Hi. It's a Palm Pilot.
Palm Pilot. Aging yourself. You're aging yourself.
Oh my, I haven't heard Palm Pilot in, God, 15, 20 years.
So, warning, this device can produce disturbing speech.
Ooh.
Not for use by children under the age of 18. Do not use while operating equipment or motor vehicles.
Demon.
So now we're into devices that, this was built by Digital Dowsing, or Bill Chappell. From my understanding, he's a retired NASA engineer who got into, interested in the paranormal and making devices. So he started coming up with prototypes of his own devices. This isn't really a prototype. This was, I want to say, mass produced, because it wasn't like he had an assembly line. But you could at one point, when this was at the most latest and greatest of this device, you could buy this and get this. He's one of the originators of the Spirit Box. Which, if you watch any of these reality shows, paranormal shows in recent years, everyone's using some form of a Spirit Box.
Yeah.
Different methods. The original Radio Shack hack box, which was, he even put the instructions out there how to do the mods yourself. And one of my original ITC research partners from my other group, we got the plans. We bought up a bunch of those radios. And we hacked it, and I've got 4 of them sitting in the case over there.
Nice.
They're all hacked and sweep. So he was like one of the pioneers of the sweeping radio, using the sweeping radio. And then I think this is like 2007, 2008 time frame. And then other researchers and developers started, manufacturing pre-made devices like the SB7 and the SB11 and all the different versions. Oh, I didn't even bring down the new radio we got for the Estes method. So we're getting there. Hang in there. So another one. This is the Paranormal Puck 2. You understand why it's called a puck, because it looks like a hockey puck. Another array of sensors, very similar to the Ovilus. This connects via Bluetooth to an app on a mobile device or a lap or iPad or something, where again it's measuring all these different sensors in the environment, and they're mapped to words, but it has an interface where you can ask questions like we do in an EVP session. Then based upon what it's picking up, we'll spit out a word. Sometimes it's just completely random and nonsensical. Other times we're getting specific names, or it seems like it's
Responses.
very specific in what it responds to. I do have the original Puck as well. That one had to work by being tethered to a PC to work with a piece of software, but it only runs on Windows XP, and I don't have a working XP device anymore, so sadly that device has been retired for now. But it was for a while it was my go-to. Like, we would set up an environment, let it run in constant mode, because it would record everything. So you would just have rows and rows and rows of all this data that you could use and go and build. I'm all about data.
Which we like.
Yeah.
We're
Gotta be thorough.
All right, a suspenseful moment here. We're getting to the last one. All right. At least we have a couple clips of this in action. So.
dun, dun.
Now this is a prototype, because this was made by Bill Chappell, digitaldowsing.com. There's maybe I don't know exactly how many of these he did let out. I know that I think one of the other devices I have, like the Video PX, which we used a couple times, which isn't here. I know Ghost Adventures have gotten their hands on one, and they used it for a little bit of time. But this one is called the Temporal Controller, and I will show you why, and you'll see in our clips. So it has 4 sensors in an array that's wired to this handheld device. It's like a headband, and you literally put it on. With my headphones, I can't really put it on, but you wear it, and you will wear it on either your left or right temple. And what it's doing is it's reproducing targeted brainwaves in a repetitive pattern. Now, the mode that we've been using it in, that you've all used it in, is the environmental mode, which is the standalone, where you don't actually have to have this connected to a computer. It runs through like a pre-programmed set of settings, and where it's kind of cycling through certain brainwaves. And the idea is that it's introducing these additional brainwaves through EMF field into your brain, so that you may be able to, in environmental mode, the idea is trying to level you into, bring you into the environment, make you more in tune with it, more sensitive to what potentially could be going on. But this has another name that it's known for. Now, this is Bill Chappell's iteration or version of this type of device. He's not like the originator of this, what it's called. If you go out and look for the other name it's known for, you're going to find some really bizarre, like Rick Moranis, Ghostbusters style devices. So this is also known as the God Helmet.
Dun, dun, dun.
And the reason it has the nickname of the God Helmet is that for some folks who have used it, the experience is so profound for them that they actually think that God is in the room with them. Because it can cause auditory, visual hallucinations, but I don't know if I would even call them hallucinations, because some of my personal experiences with them have been so intense and then validated by other people who weren't even using the device. I think it really kind of opens you up. So I think we're going to get ready and show this first clip. This first clip is with Eddie using it during one of our investigations at the Everett. This is a little teaser clip, so we're going to let the control room take it from here. And they're ready. Yeah, they're working on it. So, do 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 do. Okay, I think they are just about ready. And enjoy this little clip prepared for us by Alex. Thank you. Here we go. Where you going, buddy?
So, Ed, what do you got over there?
I have probably one of my favorite devices on planet Earth. It's called a God helmet. It has electrodes that manipulate the theta waves in your brain to make you a little bit more open to the paranormal. I'll see y'all in a little bit.
Is it on? Because, yeah, I saw your aura flash. That was so weird.
Look at your face. That is classic, Ed. Oh. All right, so that's this little tease, you know. So it's Emily. It's interesting. So as soon as you turn it on, it looks like. I mean, you said his aura flash. So
Yeah.
tell us about what that was like for you. Like, what did you experience?
So, like, everyone has their own aura, but in particular, Ed's, like, normally his is just like, wee, and then when you guys turned on the device, his aura went, whoop, like, I don't know how else to describe it, it just flared out.
Cool. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so that's a tease. Like, we don't want to get this is stuff that you'll see in our public presentation at the theater in October, and then we'll be obviously this is going to be a feature device that's that's part of our toolbox that we'll be using in every investigation. So get used to seeing it. It's part of our thing until either it cooks one of us or
We usually fight over who gets to use it first. So we're all like, yeah.
Which is funny.
Are we using the God helmet today? Please?
Because my last group, nobody wanted to use it. They were all afraid of it.
Really?
We're all over here like bring the God helmet.
Yeah, they wouldn't use it. It was like, but come on,
That's
like
fun.
I mean, one of my most profound experiences from using it was in the Gettysburg Orphanage. Which ended up on, somehow that story ended up on an episode of Ghost Adventures when they had some 500-pound guy play me, which was really kind of off-putting.
What?
But I had, after I had basically a little boy come up behind me and grab me from behind.
Wow.
It was just like,
Zach Bagel Boys.
what, and then having another spirit come forward and again of a child. Basically, he told me his whole story, what happened to him. And I was the only one again, using the device. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I just used this one too many times. I just
You're done.
Like my brain just popped. But after the child came forward and told me what happened, and he went away. There was two other investigators. One was in the pit with me, another one who was sitting right outside. And she's like, just like a shadow, like a child-sized shadow figure, just kind of crossed in front of her, past her, and went down the hallway. And I'm like, okay, so if you saw that, then I wasn't just, my brain just wasn't like filling in the gaps. So, all right, I think we have one more clip. This one is of me using it from, I think, our first investigation at the Everett in the wardrobe, and that last one, Ed, was in the projection booth. Here we go. All right, you're getting it, and we're off. So we're going to be starting with some God helmet. I am going to start the first one off. And we have EMF over there, EMF pump running, and I've got the thermal camera as well. Taking some pictures, it's recording. Alright, here we go. I'm starting in 3, 2, 1. And feel free to just do a EVP. Helps if I would finish my sentences, you know, it's just like, don't, my brain is cooking. That's Tim. And there's my partner, Jessica.
Is there anybody here in the wardrobe department with us? Does anybody feel anything?
Spooky. There we go. So that's it. October 10th, Friday, October 10th, the Everett Theater. We are going to be doing a full-on presentation showing more than just teaser clips. So we're going to be walking, you know, the audience who comes out through our investigation, and we have, you know, interviews with other folks that have experiences there. Obviously, we're going to have on-stage demonstrations of equipment, and getting into all kinds of fun stuff. You know, I gotta say though, I mean, not all of you seen. That's probably most you've seen some of the footage. But Alex and I, you know, we've been working on a lot of this stuff in post, and I did a rough edit of both of the investigations so far, and we've got some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it, and we won't, because I'd rather us like go into deeper dive talking about some of the stuff after it's been out there and seen it. But that last investigation with all of us in the beginning of May was pretty wild.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, we got real evidence of things happening. Not we've got audio evidence, we've got visual evidence, we've had the physical experiences. I mean, it's just multiple lines of evidence, and to actually have it that we're going to actually be able to show and let people see and hear and know that we weren't just making stuff up. Like,
come out to the Everett Theater on 10/10. You'll be able to see it, and then ask us questions about it. We'll do a Q&A about it. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, I mean, you come meet us. You get to talk to everyone on the team, not just the 4 of us, but our entire crew will be there.
The whole crew.
You know, we're going to have equipment out there doing demos. We may do a spirit box. We may do a spirit box on stage. We may even do a God helmet on stage. Of course, we can't take any volunteers from the audience for that.
No.
But I'm sure Ed would be willing to be the demonstrator on stage for the God helmet. As he dings. So we're an hour and a half plus in. That's pretty good, folks.
Good time.
I know that we could easily go all night, but we're only gonna give you another 20-25 minutes of this before we call it a night. But we still have a couple things I want to get through with Emily.
Well, yeah, I want to touch on your what you brought with you tonight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I brought my Oracle deck that I made.
So as she's getting her deck out, I can tell you this is all right. So correct me if I'm wrong. This is what I remember. So this is a deck that you have designed and built.
Yep.
And you are doing a crowdfund for it now, so folks can buy this deck. This is specific for spiritual defense, right?
It is spiritual defense, identifying anything that has to do with a haunting or attachment. You could technically use it as a piece of equipment for investigating to see what's going on in a location. You can use it for spiritual guidance to see, like, if you have blocked chakras, if you have an attachment, or some kind of like trauma you need healed. It does all of that.
And you've done several readings with that deck on your channel, right?
Yeah, so I was doing live streams with on my channel with this deck.
Okay. So do you do readings for people, like for hire, or if I request that people reach out to you and say, hey, could you do a reading for me live?
Yeah, so you can either go in when I do lives, you can request for one. I usually do those for free, but if there's something like it's more severe that's going on and you want it done privately, you can contact me through my website at thefineartmedium.com, and you can schedule a reading with me. So we do cards. I can just do, I don't even need cards, but like whatever you want. I do automatic drawing sessions. I could draw your spirit guide. I can draw the things around you, your attachment, if you wanted to know that. Like, I have a bunch of different services available there.
Great. And again, that
He is
deck
very talented
is
in that.
available for purchase, right? It's not. It's still being. Is it still being made? And it's.
It's in print right now.
Okay.
Yep. So the printer does have all the files. They are getting them ready, and it is up for print. So if you guys could help me out, anyone like viewers, if you want to help support this deck, you can. But regardless, it is still going to be created, and you can do pre-orders on my Indiegogo.
You pass them around too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to see some in person.
So we got this one.
Ooh.
I have a front row. I have a front row view, so I'm just like.
Just try and hold it for the that one camera there. So
Now,
they can focus
for
in
the
on it.
final version of this deck, there are some cards that are not going to be exactly the same because I did edit them to make them better. But the ones I'm showing are specifically ones that will remain the same.
Cool.
But I can pass them along.
Yeah. So again, so the links to the Indiegogo are through your YouTube channel, to your website. I mean, I think we have links. We'll be posting on our socials once we do an edited version of the same broadcast. We'll probably have overlays with all the links and details and all that cool stuff that'll be available for
Yeah,
folks.
this is beautiful.
Yeah, I remember when you brought it during studio day. I got to take I love the binding on the cards. I need to buy a deck actually. I don't really do oracle cards all that much, but I like them. I think they're pretty neat.
Yeah.
I have a
I bought a
I
deck.
love the anime vibe on this.
so I gotta make sure I get on that while they're still.
And there's 96 cards.
Take more money.
Yeah, they're really nice, and then Eddie will be doing the signature series God help. I'm just kidding. We're not.
You want to do that?
Well, it's not mine to it's like we'd have to come up with our own design, and I'm not a NASA engineer, so I don't even know like.
Sure, we can reverse engineer that, right?
We're not taking that apart. Man. I already had to replace one of the switches in that once. So.
I'm not Tony Stark.
But maybe I can ask some dead people for some information.
There you go.
That could work.
Or we could email Bill and say, hey,
That
Can you-
too.
Yeah.
would you be willing to, do a signature, no, he wouldn't. He'd be like, no, because I had to sign like a 20-page liability waiver to buy that before he would like ship that thing to me because, he's like, I don't want to be responsible for anything
Yeah.
that could happen to you. I'm like, I understand. Like,
When your ears are, dripping goo, it's not his fault.
Be like, hey, Billy Boy, I'll send you a deck for free.
I've been using it for how long now? 15 years? I'm fine.
It's fine.
I can't see in color anymore, but I'm okay.
I'm tasting static.
Everything's in plaid. No.
I will say though, with the God helmet, for me, I think because I'm already open, it did nothing for me. But for you guys, you had more profound experiences.
Yes,
Yeah,
without going into details, because that's going to be for the 10th.
Yeah, but
I was like, ooh, hey.
it's like an amplifier.
Yeah.
Right? Because like I was saying earlier, like I've done a lot of conditioning to like kind of shut a lot of that down for me because it's just, and that's like okay, here comes, there's the switch, open up the doors, and it all comes in. So it's interesting that for you it'd almost be like the opposite effect,
Well,
or
for me, like the psychic stuff, it's never turned off. It's always turned on.
Gotcha. Okay. So that's the God helmet. Like I said, we're gonna.
You're holding them upside down.
They're all upside down. They're all over the place.
So we'll be doing again. This is a featured device in upcoming episodes, investigations. It will be live on stage on the October 10th event. I'm excited to.
So maybe we should copy that 20-page document. It'd be like, if you want to do this, sign this, so we don't have any liability.
No, we won't let.
No.
I'm sorry. I
No, it's
also
fine.
because if this breaks,
Oh yeah.
I'll never be able to like. It's like the idea of us being able to replace that is like
None.
no, I mean, it's so. It's a cherished device. Like
Yeah.
It's kind of like
You don't want to risk it.
it,
No.
it's almost like a I was I don't know how many months ago this was probably like 6 or 7 months ago. I was driving home from work before this happened. Um, I was on the phone with Alex and I wanted something like this
Hmm.
to be in the show because I saw something like this, like the God helmet on. Are you guys familiar with Paranormal State?
Yeah. Yeah.
They did the the Shakti Gansfeld experiment where it was a helmet a lot bulkier than this, so this is a little bit more refined but it was that.
If somebody commented on the YouTube channel to try and do a reading with the cards. That's up to you if you want.
All right. Well,
I have no table space.
Yeah.
we can. Well, maybe we can push some stuff off here. That's a good segue, team. Are there anyone online that has any questions for anyone, any of us? Well, I guess while you're getting them together, and if you can, type them on the screen for us. We have another icebreaker or questions in spirit of Friday the 13th. This is a good one that Chris would come up with. So I'm gonna let you run with this one. So tell us. So what's your what do you want to know about us?
Little icebreaker for today. I'd like to know what your favorite 3 horror movies are. Try and keep it simple. I know that's for real horror fans. It's a subgenre answer as well. Like for me, I can't. It's very hard. Like I've got favorite found footage movies. I got favorite slashers, favorite thrillers, favorite suspenseful movies. They're all over the place, so it's very difficult. But try and come up with your 3 best, and I'll go with Ed first.
First of all, like, what are we considering horror? Like,
Whatever you consider horror.
dear
We'll take that.
God.
So if a Tyler Perry movie gives you nightmares, that could be considered a horror movie for you because it scares you. So why not? Right?
If Willy Wonka scares the crap out of you, as it probably
I
should.
get it.
That boat ride scene is pretty scary.
That's a trippy movie, man.
I mean, Marilyn Manson, he used that in his early, anyway.
Yeah.
I have 2 off the hop. The first Conjuring movie. When I saw that, I was like, now this is something. With I'm such a jerk with this. I saw this with my first ex, and I turned off all the light. We turned off all the lights, and all of a sudden, just the clap game. That was, and she was terrified. It was great. My second favorite is Sinister, because of one scene and one scene only, when the Yaga, the boogeyman, is on the is in the is in like on the TV screen, and Ethan Hawke, who was the star, looks away, and then you see just the like if that camera the figure just does this. And just it wasn't a jump scare. It was just perfect. And then I think my next one is going to be a little obscure. No, it's not going to be obscure. Gotta go with the classic Nosferatu. The OG.
The OG.
The OG, like
the Max Shrek.
the fact that they didn't show the creature until like the last 15 minutes of the movie, just
Awesome.
Keep
Good
going.
answer.
I'm just making room for Emily because I think we're not going to get out of her trying to do a sample reading. People are really
How much room do you need over there, Emily? Like the whole section?
I'll just have to move my drink, or things are gonna go yeet. Yeet.
And this is the only deck you currently have, right?
that I've made myself. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so wait, your first movie was The Conjuring, the first one, and Sinister. Do you have a third one?
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu. Right. Okay. How about you, Emily? Are you a
First two, I would say 28 Weeks Later, and then The Nun, because when I watch horror movies, I want to be scared, and those two were like one of my favorite in terms of that. And then my third one was the last Conjuring movie I guess they made, The Devil Made Me Do It, because I got to learn through an astral experience after watching that movie how possession looks from the perspective of the person being possessed versus the people watching the person being possessed. So I got to learn about that, which is crazy, and it was kind of traumatizing at the time, but you know what, I kind of took that more as a lesson to learn than kind of like, I don't know, staying scared and being powerless, and just kind of turned it more into a positive thing.
okay?
Cool. Mark?
Medea? No, just kidding. So some of the more classics, like Poltergeist.
Okay.
Seeing that for the first time as a young kid scared the crap out of me. And I mean, I love that movie. It's I'm contemplating that being our feature film on Halloween night at the theater at 9 o'clock before we do our Rocky Horror thing. But
Nice. Do you guys do a live action Rocky Horror up there?
yeah.
Oh, really?
We're going to talk about some events because
Ghost.
we've got a big event coming up with you.
Yes, we do.
One of your projects in a couple weeks, actually. So Poltergeist, it's in no particular order, but
Okay.
three
Top
favorites.
Three, yeah.
Poltergeist is definitely one. Like Army of Darkness is
Okay.
probably another one. 'Cause I love that. Well, I mean, the whole Evil Dead piece is great, and Bruce Campbell, he just
There's not a bad one in the bunch.
no, but I mean, Army of Darkness is near and dear because I remember seeing that in the theater multiple times and being really drunk. Cause anyway, really cool. And then I think honestly, in recent years, right now, like one that I've watched multiple times and would watch again, The Substance is like
Okay.
really good. Like
Yeah.
for body horror, kind of that vibe. I mean, pretty good. But there's, I mean, like you, by no means am I like an authority on any of the genres
No,
of
absolutely
subgenres,
not.
but
None of us are.
There's so many good, horror
Yeah.
movies in all the different subsets, and depending
Absolutely.
what you're going for. Now the reality is like I got to a point where movies don't really scare me anymore. Like
No, not.
I think in recent years, like this, like whenever this came out, I guess 10, 15 years ago, The Fourth Kind.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
The alien. It was like the way they presented it was like here are actors replaying Mila Jovovich.
Mila Jovovich, yeah.
But like, and it's like they're reenacting scenes side by side, which seemed like original footage or authentic footage. And I remember leaving that movie like convinced that other footage was real footage. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like the most frightening. Like I went home and like doing all my Googling and obviously it was all fiction. And to me it was like that they took that genre in a completely different direction to be able to do that. So, but anyway, how about you? What do you got?
Oh man, that's probably one of the hardest questions I've ever had to answer in my life. Being a horror fan, it's just like.
I mean, so again,
I know.
they don't have to be like your top three, but just
I'll go with most memorable for me. Probably the one that sticks with me. I could watch nonstop is Hell House LLC,
interesting.
which I love found footage. I don't know why. To me, it's just it pulls you in a certain way, and it did such a good job with it. And with the jump scares that they had were just about perfect for you. Really pulling you in, making you feel like you're a part of it. The fact that it's somewhat local lore was really a cool design in that film. So that, since that's come out, it's really stuck with me over all the other found footage movies. Found footage is probably one of my favorite. It gets me the closest to being scared versus anything else.
Okay.
Next up would probably be the original Halloween.
Nice.
John
Oh, God.
Carpenter. I mean,
Classic.
it's just The Shape, Jamie Lee Curtis, PJ Souls, all the people, the whole cast, everything about it was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
The score was beautiful. I've watched that so many times in my life. Never really induced fear for me, but it's just like, how do you not have
It's a beautiful film.
how do you not have horror without that? Like it's so iconic, and especially to center on a holiday such as Halloween, and they've got it. They hit it out of the park. So that probably be my number two, and number three. Ah man, I would probably go with something from the Bloomhouse section. Probably Sinister.
Sinister, yeah.
Sinister's, I hate to copy it, but it's up there. It's really
You know
really well done.
you know the moment that I was talking about, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know.
It was like, oh.
Yeah, I actually own that on Blu-ray. I've only watched it a couple times. I need to watch it again. From what I remember, it was good. But you know what I completely glossed over that really made a big impact on me? The Thing. John
Yeah,
Carpenter's
yeah.
The Thing. When I saw that movie as a kid, to me it was like the most graphic, and I didn't realize until last year. I'm going to be 51 this year. That movie almost killed. It pretty much killed his career. Like it blacklisted him.
Yeah.
It was not a hit. Whereas I seen that movie as a kid. It's like
How's
that's
how's
the
it not
greatest
a hit?
horror movie it was ever. Like
How's this?
how
not
do they do
huge?
these effects?
Yeah.
And just a few weeks ago, it turns out a friend of mine, her uncle was in The Thing. He played Fuchs,
Oh, nice.
and I got to have dinner with him and
Oh,
talk to him
that's great.
about he showed me behind the scenes pictures he took with the old film camera
Oh, wow.
on set and talking about it. And I was just like, again, just a classic movie. All right, so we want to give Emily a chance to do a quick reading. Now, the reading does it need to be for one of us, or can it just be a general reading? Or
I was thinking about doing the reading on Annabelle on tour.
Oh my god.
nice. Okay, go for it.
We do have a comment on YouTube from my wife. She's like, Chris,
You can just swing your mic out. There you go.
It is one of your favorite. And I'm like, yes, it is one of my favorite. But I could watch the original or the remake of the It movies.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I'm a huge Stephen King fan,
yeah.
so
The original, with
the
Tim
TV
Curry.
series,
Yeah, that was.
Tim Curry just killed it.
It's funny. I just finally saw the second part of the Scarlet
Alright,
Heart
then.
version.
Yeah,
I saw the first one a few years ago. I'm like, I don't know why I haven't
yeah. It's they did a really good job on that one.
So while she's shuffling and ready, did you see the recent remake of Salem's Lot?
Yes,
What'd you think of that?
it was good.
I liked it.
I liked it. It was definitely good.
I love the way that they animated the crucifix with
Yeah.
when the vampire would. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Speaking of found footage, it's like a documentary horror kind of thing. The Taking of Deborah Logan.
Yes,
Mm.
that was good.
I will never watch that again. That scarred me. I had nightmares for like 2 or 3 nights.
What was did anybody watch the one that was like a ghost hunter based? The one guy does paranormal investigation. He winds up going to one house and then he shoots off to like a different house in Florida, and it's just like him alone investigating this house and doing all this paranormal investigation stuff. There's like 8 movies of it. They're all like about an hour long.
Interesting. No, I haven't
What?
heard of.
They're really solid. Like I watched
full production movies.
What about the last
found footage style.
Found footage
the
stuff.
last Exorcism was a found footage one? Did you familiar with that one?
Probably. I've seen so many movies.
It was pretty decent too.
Yeah.
So that was maybe like late 2000s,
Yeah.
2010s maybe. All right.
Bad Ben.
What?
Bad Ben.
Bad Ben.
I have.
Yep, that's the name you were thinking, Chris.
I don't. I think that's a different one. There's another one. It's I don't know.
Who's the actor or
It's
actress?
He's a nobody.
All right. Are we ready? Are you ready?
Not nobody,
Yes.
but he's not an
We
actor.
are ready.
All right. Let's
So I pulled 6 cards because 6. I mean, people get crazy about 666, but I did that on purpose. Anyway, so the first card that had popped out is, and I'll do this. It is the Other. So in my deck, I have like a classification like list of how I go through like different entities and things, and it goes from like negative energy, like residual, and then it goes like poltergeist, thought form, tulpa. You have bug entities, parasitic entities, non-human, earthbound spirits, demons, and then the other. And the other is kind of like, as humans, we don't know everything there is to know about like the paranormal. So the other would be like something outside of what we understand and know, which Annabelle is a haunted doll. And I mean, when it comes to haunted objects, they're very complex because, yeah, you can have residual like hauntings of an object, but sometimes it's more than that. You can have an entity attachment or a spirit attachment to an object, but this one, I feel like with Annabelle, it's not just one entity. I feel like it's a culmination of many of them, especially because of where she is normally at the Warren Museum. Obviously, she's on tour, but for the majority of the time, she kind of is with other haunted objects. And I mean, on the podcast that I have with Lights of Midnight, we do talk about haunted objects and how sometimes that, I mean, at least from experience, we've seen how other haunted objects that are set around each other, they they kind of can communicate with
Yes,
each other.
Blackwell tapes. That's what it is.
Sorry.
And swap places with one another. So yeah, you might have Annabelle and the entity attached to Annabelle, but she can go anywhere she wants, or it technically. We just say she because Annabelle is like a female like character of the doll. But so with the other card, it's not just her or it. There's a bunch of other things when it comes to that doll. The second card that popped out was the Karma card. Doink, sorry.
I've doinked so many times today. But tonight, that's like,
But the Karma card has to do with like what comes around, goes around, goes around, comes around. But it's interesting too that they're taking her to places and things are happening. Personally, I think it's a terrible idea to bring any type of haunted object to another haunted location. You're kind of like, I don't know, putting gas on a fire, because you have all the spirits and entities that are kind of like content with their environment already, and then you put an outside force on top of that, and then it stirs it all up and it creates problems. And it's kind of like a domino effect that can keep happening, and it can, negative energy has it can attract other negative energy, and so that can include bad things that happen, like was it a plantation that got on fire?
Yes.
Recently, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, a plantation. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh darn.
So it's like
what a shame.
certain things, especially like something that would have happened eventually, kind of like triggered it to happen faster in the location. That's like another good example of kind of like the karma. Like it was coming anyway, but having that object there with the negative energy made it happen faster. And then the someone close to you card. Yeah, you know what that makes me think of? It reminds me of Tony Spera and some of the other people he works with, because he's the one that kind of manages the Warren Museum currently. I met him in person. I met, who's that other guy? Chris.
From the museum?
Well, he worked with the Warrens.
Okay.
I forget his last name. He got in trouble for taking funds. Like, he would give his Venmo account or whatever and have donations sent to that, like, to his stuff. That's all I'll say about that. But I met them. and they're kind of going along the route of like Zach Bagans. Like they started out for pure learning and had good intentions to begin with. However, the more you're in this type of work, if you don't check yourself, you're gonna wreck yourself. And that energy like starts to like become saturated. And before you know it, if you're not paying attention, you can have attachments and have all these types of issues in your life. And being surrounded by negativity constantly is no good. And I feel like with the someone close to you card, the people that are always around, like Annabelle and the Warren Museum, they've got some things that they need to take care of. I'll just leave it there because I don't want to get in trouble.
No, you're spot on.
And then we got incorrect cleansing method. Yeah, you're not supposed to take Annabelle box. Like that was like Ed's first rule. Don't take it out of the box. And her.
Were people taking it out of the box?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because they're idiots.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the cleansing method that they are doing is not right. So incorrect cleansing method. You have to when dealing with haunted objects, you have to like maintain a routine of like making sure that it is secure. Like for her, she's in her box, and I know they have. I don't know if they put holy water or oil around it. I forget what their methods of cleansing.
Seal.
Yeah, they had it sealed, but they keep breaking and crossing that seal.
Well, I guess every time they're moving it, I mean, you're saying it's like a road show, like a touring show?
Yep, it's on tour.
It was some of the wildest stuff I've ever heard. It was like
Ed is rolling in his grave right now. And then we have the invitation card. Well, hello. You're literally inviting Annabelle to wherever you're taking her on tour. So it's affecting everybody. That is around. I mean, it's not even just the people of the location, or like the visitors that go to visit her in some of these haunted places. Like people think that hauntings are restricted by like a doll or like an object or a house. Like they can move around too. Like they're not just confined and because her seal is broken. Like I mean that's not gonna hold her anywhere. So she's run around. She's causing chaos.
She's on tour. She's having fun.
She's living her best life, I guess. She's
hotel room, throwing couches out the window.
Yep.
Rock star. What are you gonna do?
And then we got
I've never done
the negativity absorber. So when you have people that are sensitive to energies, we tend to absorb the negative energy. I'm clairsentient, so for me that's like one of my biggest weaknesses is absorbing that energy. And I mean other people you can still like become saturated in residual energy, and it's always good to have like a spiritual cleansing routine. Even if you're not experiencing a haunting, doing like a cleansing every now and then is still a good idea. It's like washing your hands and taking a shower. But those are the six cards that were pulled.
You have a good comment on YouTube from Luminary Luna Dean. Yeah. Annabelle gains more energy by traveling and having all the visitors. So yeah, lol. She knows she tapped into her energy. When she's there in the abyss, there's back.
Yeah. I mean that's and we recently had a gathering where we talked about some of the stuff, and we're gonna save some of these for another episode. But the point was like when you encounter these types of energies, the less you want to do is amplify it and draw power to it. And it sounds like by charging money and taking this thing out on the road and letting and again continually moving it, which is never you're just amplifying. It's like okay, it's a recipe for disaster for the folks that have to be around them all the time. And it sounds like those folks from what you're picking up and your knowledge is that they've got some stuff they gotta deal with on their own because of the long-term exposure to.
Also, like I went to the Ed and Lorraine Warren Museum. When you go there, you're going there for a reason. You know that you're going to see some messed up stuff, and when Annabelle's on tour, the people that they're gonna be interacting with are like, hey, let's take a picture.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, with some C4.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Anyway, so there we go. So there's a sample reading, and we found out. Thank you. Somebody had purchased the deck. Thank you so much.
Thank
and,
you.
Awesome. Thank you.
I know that I've got to get myself reserve a deck before they all get sold out, because I'm sure they will.
Tahoe's, TAJOS.
Oh yeah.
They just bought a deck.
Oh, thank you. You're awesome.
That's great. All right, we did it. We did 2 hours, folks.
We did.
And I
It-
think
it
it's
flew by for us. I don't know if the audience felt the same way.
yeah. If there's an audience, I hope. So we're at near the moment of truth, which is we're going to reveal our official teaser trailer.
Yeah.
And then after the trailer, we'll come back. We have a couple more things we'll plug, and then we'll say goodnight. But stand by for the trailer in a minute. All right. And the Staler trailer. Yeah. Here we go.
Trailer.
Coming up. Okay. Well, there you go.
Bussin'.
So that will be out on our socials post haste. So again, couple quick plugs. We're going to say goodnight. Again, that date, save that date. Friday, October 10th is our big reveal at the Everett Theater in Middletown, Delaware. You can go to everetttheater.org to keep in mind for tickets. Check out socials. Follow our socials. As soon as tickets become available, we will of course be launching out to the world. We've heard that these type of events could do really well, so don't sit on wait. Don't wait till last minute, because I wouldn't be surprised if something like this could sell out.
Yeah.
It's in the height of October spooky season.
That would be wicked cool.
It's a
and
big
again,
theater, but
we're gonna have we're gonna be there in full force with our equipment, and we're gonna have limited merch that we're gonna give away to patrons and sell stickers and posters, and we're gonna again do some live on stage demos of some of the equipment and doing a spirit box session and all kinds of stuff, and then show you the heart of the evidence and reveal the footage that we've got from the investigations at the theater. So that's, again, stay tuned for that. And then our show, we're in production right now, so stay tuned for and the next time we do this, well, I'm sure hopefully it'll be sooner than later, because I think it was a lot of fun. I'd hope we can do this. Yeah, do it again. So I hope you'll come back and join us again for another either live stream or pre-recorded thing. I guess we'll see if this worked out well. I don't see why we couldn't do it live again. But there's a couple more things I want to plug. So in a few weeks, on July 3rd, at the Everett Theater, we are doing Trimungus. My company is sponsoring a night of movies at 7:30 p.m. We are doing the original Ghostbusters, which tickets for $8. We're actually going to have multiple groups of Ghostbuster cosplayers in full costume there for photo ops. There may be an Ecto-1 on site.
cool.
Stay tuned for that. It's going to be our good bud Brett, his birthday that night, so it's going to be a birthday bash for him. We're going to bring him up on stage and treat him like a piñata. Just kidding. Then the late night showing, we've got we're featuring. You're not going to be in town for this, are you?
I will not be in town for this.
But your partner.
My partner will be there.
And then a lot of I think other casts and some of the
I believe Mark Haynes will be on site.
So it's going to be the first theater premiere of Chris's short horror film, Swine and Dine.
Yeah, it's a 21-minute movie Swine and Dine stars Mark Haynes, Kelsey Rea, Michelle Santiago, and a few other people. We had the privilege of having Trimungus help us out on set for that, and we had a blast shooting it, blast editing it, and
Yeah, a lot of us, like Alex was on it.
yeah, we had a
Jeff
whole
on it.
squad of people there. It was an awesome time, and it's our first like legit production that we did, and we're happy that it's finally done and we can put it in theaters.
So we'll be showing that at 10 p.m., followed by a quick Q&A with with some of the cast and crew, and then we're following that up with the original Return of the Living Dead at 10:30. And again, for a single ticket price of $8, you can come to Swine and Dine and Return of the Living Dead, where we've got $2 boxes of popcorn. We'll be there. I'm actually one of the projectionists there, so I'll be there for the entire night, hanging out. I'm sure we'll have some Swine and Dine swag. I hope some posters.
Yeah, we'll have some stuff there. Posters, some T-shirts, stickers.
Come and meet and greet with some of the again, Mark Haynes is going to be there. If you don't know him, he was in
Stream. He played a player number 4 in Stream movie. He's played as Dave Bautista's stunt double in a couple different movies. So he's been out there. He's
I know
a hulking
Kelsey's
guy.
been in a few things. Michelle's been in a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
So, and I had a lot of fun working on it, not just on set, but I got to do the sound design.
Yep.
And so I the challenge of how gross and gory can I make these kills without giving.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna spoil it, but these kills sound. And tickets are available online. I made a special trailer for it. It's a
Kick-ass trailer.
Swine and
Such a cool trailer.
Dine Return of the Living Dead mashup trailer that's flying around socials right now. So check out any of our socials. We've all shared it 100 times by now. So please come out for that July 3rd kickoff to July 4th of July weekend, holiday weekend with us at the Everett. And
Swine and Dine will also be doing a premiere at Smod Castle Cinemas in North Atlantic Highlands on July 27th.
and you're doing like a full 2 or 3 hour block.
3-hour block. We are renting the theater. We are selling the tickets ourselves. Every ticket sale gets you a thing of popcorn and a drink at the theater.
Awesome.
We're going to do a Q&A, same thing, swag, all that stuff for sale. By then, we're hoping to have Blu-rays available. We're not only playing Swine and Dine, we're going to do a mashup of all of our shorts
Cool.
together. So leading up to Swine and Dine being the final one, because we've got a bunch of stuff out at festivals right now, so we can't really release it out on YouTube just yet, but we're excited for it.
And then next weekend we'll be together with Ron and my partner Jessica. We'll both be at the out in Cleveland at
Yes.
the International Horror Hotel
Festival.
Film Festival. I know you all have a short in the Room 237 competition.
Yep.
And we have a comedy music video horror inspired short that's been nominated for Best Music Video, which I'm
Let's go.
So we'll be out in Cleveland from Thursday to Sunday. If you're out that way, you don't know, come hang out with us. We're looking to have a good time for that. And then there's a big Halloween night event happening at the theater that I'm going to plug as well because I'm part of that. It's a triple feature. So at 7:30 p.m. we're doing a block of Trimungus stuff. We may do our found footage mockumentary called The Alien Kind again, which we did last year. 9 o'clock will be a feature film, which right now I'm leaning towards possibly Poltergeist.
Mm-hmm.
And then at midnight, we're doing the Rocky Horror Picture Show with a full shadow cast performing the whole show on stage.
Nice.
That's a blast. If you've never experienced Rocky Horror,
You have to.
You have to do it at least once in your
Oh,
life.
it's so much fun. Every
and
chance I
Halloween's
get.
a Friday this year, so there's no excuse to come out.
yeah,
not,
perfect.
Not to come out and do that. And then we're teasing at the possibility as Astral Paranormal. Yeah, you can tell it's been a long day. Doing a live stream investigation potentially at the Everett Theater sometime in early November. We don't have a date yet. We are talking about doing a raffle at our October 10th event where we would raffle off a spot to come join us, provided that we approve them to come with us, because like, hey, I want to come investigate. And it's like, how much whiskey have you had tonight, sir? No.
Yeah. We might have to do some vetting before we allow
But,
you in.
it's all for for fundraising. But so that's a possibility. We're floating that possibility for November. That'll be exciting because it'll be a full live multicam, just like you would watch on television, but it'll be all live happening. And so that's it. I think we're gonna call it there. We ran some overtime. Wow, 2 hours and 15 minutes about.
Nice.
Thank you.
This is what happens.
I had
You guys have anything you want to promote right now?
Yeah, what do you got?
Anything coming up? Nothing?
good hand vibes, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
send good vibes Ed's way. He needs some help with his hand.
Yeah, Ed needs as much healing energy we can send him. So if you're a healer, send it his way. He needs it.
I just added the link for your Indiegogo to the
Yes, sir.
YouTube chat. So if anybody out
Support
there
her.
wants to grab the perk to get her cards as soon as they're ready to come and ship out, you'll get first crack at them.
And
Another thing I want to plug.
Yeah.
Black Hat Films in Swine and Dime was featured in an article released today in Indie Horror
congratulations.
Junkie.
Right.
Yeah, we got that
Nice.
in the magazine today. It's going to be cool.
And speaking of, I know we were talking about Friday the 13th films. I know the composer on Swine and Dine, Bobby Cara.
Yeah, Bobby Carr.
He was
Jason-
launching an Indiegogo today for a
Jason's
Friday the
Fury.
13th. Yeah,
Friday the 13th fan film.
that he's a part of. So
That's
again, that's one really cool things that I'm learning about the indie horror community is that everyone really is supportive of each other. Like, if you've got a project, whether it's a short or a feature, it's like we all seem to rally around each other,
Yeah.
and we all end up working on each other's films, whether on set and post production. Just because it's that it takes a village mentality, right?
Yeah.
And the idea of if one group of us is successful, then by right, hopefully all of us are going to be successful.
That's the hope.
And so there's a lot of passion and a lot of creativity and a lot of just like a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that we all put into these projects, including this show. We've, it's a work of passion. So please, support us by subscribing, liking, sharing. Keep an eye out because we are going to do this again. Like I said, this is just tonight was a proof of concept to see if we could do this, how it would go. But we fully intend to do a regular episodal series in this format just to talk about all things paranormal. There will be, extended conversations about our investigations as that footage and those episodes come out. But we have so many things that we could talk about with paranormal. There are so many great stories that I know that we've all talked about off camera that some of you have never heard that would love to hear. I will say that we will never really do spirit box stuff here because I like to keep my studio a quiet space. I learned that lesson the hard way. So we won't be doing that
Yeah.
here, but we will definitely we plenty of stories, plenty of things to talk about. At some point we will even have a feature where you'll be able to call in live and ask us questions and talk to us live on the air as we're working through that. So stay tuned. Thank you so much. And you got it. This didn't happen just because of us. I got to thank Cola, Alex, Brett, Jessica.
Everyone. It was great.
It took us an entire day to get ready to do this tonight, and most of this week between the preparing the clips and just building the set and testing out the technologies. So thank you all to them for helping us make this happen. And there will be a re-recorded version of this that will be out sometime soon as we kind of go through it. Thank you. Good night. We'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks.
Astral out.
Peace out.